Kia ora everyone, my name is Kate Manihera and welcome to the Maybelline Makeup Loft. Today I'll be showing you how to nail your winged eyeliner with the Maybelline Hyper Easy Brush Tip Liner, as well as how to achieve this long-lasting makeup look. So before we get going with our eye makeup, it is super important that we've got our base makeup looking good. So the theme for today's look is long-lasting makeup. So we want makeup that's going to look just as good in 12 hours as it does when you first put it on. And because of that, I'll be using one of my Holy Grail foundations. This is the Maybelline Superstay Full Coverage 24-Hour Foundation. I use the shade Warm Honey and I absolutely love this product. I've been through like maybe 4 or 5 bottles. So I'm just doing like half a pump to start off with. There's not much product on there at all. And I've decided to use a beauty blender today just because I feel like that also helps sheer out the foundation a little bit. So I feel like I'm happy with this coverage. I like that you can see my natural skin poking through. It does mean though that you can see like my little blemish, couple of little blemishes, so I am going to use a concealer just to cover those up. The one that I'm using today is also from the Superstay range, and this is actually the full coverage under eye concealer, but I also use this on spots and stuff as well. The shade I'm using is number 30 Honey. So I've just placed my concealer under my eyes and also on any blemishes. As you can see, I'm not using too much concealer, or at least not from my own history with concealer. I used to do a lot under my eyes and the center of my face and all of that. I'm now going to go in with another concealer, except this one I'm going to be using as a bronzer. This is the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Tan. So I'm using this product to warm up my face. So I'm just going to place the product and then I'll blend it out with that same sponge. So as you can see, that added some warmth and dimension to my face, which was exactly what I was going for. At the moment, I'm really enjoying using cream products because I feel like they look nice and natural on the skin, but they also tend to last longer on my skin too. I'm going to add a little bit of the Cheek Heat Cream Blush in the shade Rose. For cream blushes, I usually just pop a little bit on my hand and then I'll just pop it onto my beauty blender. So now I feel like I've got a really nice glow to my skin. Please note I do have studio lights in front of me, so I'm probably extra glowy on camera. But I'm also going to go in with a powder blush as well. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Powder Blush in the shade 30. So I was pretty much just using that product to set my blush in place, and now I'm going to set the rest of my face using the Fit Me powder in the shade Light. So I'm probably not actually the shade Light at the moment because I've been spending a lot of time in the sun, but I generally only put powder in certain areas like under my eyes, down the center of my nose, and sort of like the middle of my face, which tends to be lighter naturally anyways, so I feel like this will do the job just fine. And that concludes the base. I'm not going to use any highlighter today just because I feel like we've got a nice natural glow going on already and I don't want to overdo it. So let's get started on the brows. So on my brows today, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Tattoo Brow Pomade in the shade Medium Brown. This stuff is amazing. It is waterproof. It comes with this little brush here, so you've got an angled end and also a spoolie end, so you can get a nice clean line. So I'm just brushing my brows, and then I usually concentrate most of the product on the outer third of my brow. The majority of the product goes on the arch and the tail of my brow, then pretty much what's like left over on the brush goes in sort of this middle portion, and then I personally don't touch the inner portion, like the inner third of my eyebrow at all. So I'm really happy with these brows, which is good because they definitely aren't going anywhere. Now we're going to prep the eyes with some eyeshadow before we finally move on to the eyeliner. So today we're going to use the Maybelline Nudes of New York eyeshadow palette, which is super pretty. These shades are all right up my alley. We've got sort of like the pinky tones, which I usually tend to wear, but if I'm not wearing those, I'm definitely wearing like the warmer golds and browns. Today I'm going to start with the shade Soloist just all over the lid, and then I'm going to move over to this side of the palette. So I'm just using this shade to mattify my eyelid and even out the skin tone a little bit. I want to keep my eyeshadow really simple today, and that's because the focus will be the winged liner. So I'm now just going to use the shade Protector in my crease, and that's sort of like a lilac-y, mauvey sort of shade. So as you can see, these eyeshadows blend really, really well. So I know this was super simple, but we are going to move on now. I'm really happy with how this looks. So today we're using the Maybelline Hyper Easy Brush Tip Eyeliner. To me, eyeliner pens are the most beginner friendly and the easiest type of eyeliner to work with. I usually use a felt tip liner. Sometimes I'll use a gel liner and an angled brush, but they are a lot less forgiving than a pen. So the Hyper Easy eyeliner pen definitely lives up to its name. It's super light in the hand, easy to control, which is good when it comes to the daunting task of winged eyeliner. So looking at the tip of the liner, you can see it's quite long and tapered. This is really easy for winged liner because most of the time you can actually just press it against the corner of your eye and stamp your wing in place. It also is quite thin, which is good for not adding too much product at a time. It's a lot easier to thicken up a line than to try thin it out. And then finally, in terms of longevity, this will stay smudge proof, transfer proof, all that good stuff for 24 hours. So let's get started. I have already done this eye off camera, and now I'll show you what I did on this eye. I prefer to begin with my lash line when I do winged liner, but I know some people prefer to do the wing first, and that's totally okay. It's a personal preference. So you want to make sure that you are holding the pen in line with your lash line the entire time. You don't want to be holding it sort of like a downwards angle or an upwards angle, and the reason for this is because it's a lot easier if you just allow the pen to hug the lash line. You can pretty much just use that as a guide the whole time, and if you work in little strokes rather than trying to do, you know, one big swoop at the same time, it's a lot easier. I also like to start in the center of my eye, and I just place the pen flat against my lash line. And then I just sort of do the same thing on the inner portion of my eye. The only time I ever go in direct is right on this inner part. So now we're finally onto the wing. And when you're doing winged eyeliner, you want that wing to be an extension of the lower lash line. So you want it to be as if this lower lash line is continuing up your face and towards your brow. If you've ever struggled with winged eyeliner, it's definitely something that takes practice. I don't recommend trying it maybe like 15 minutes before you need to go to an important event. I know that's happened to literally all of us. For me personally, I find it easy to either come here and just stamp the eyeliner on, but I know that might be a little bit scary for people that are new. So for me, I pretend that I'm following up my lower lash line. I'm not touching the skin yet. Where I think that I want the end of my tip, I'll just quickly do a little boop. And then I'm also gonna do one dot right between the outer corner of my eye and that dot that we first did, sort of like halfway. So now we've got a good little marking for our wing. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna start at the end and we're gonna connect to the end of our eye through that middle dot. So now you can see we've mapped it out. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna think where we put that middle dot, and that's where we're gonna draw the line from to connect to the lash line. So I feel pretty happy with that shape. Now I'm just going to fill in the gaps, and I'm just going to press the liner against my eye. So I've just got a little bit of makeup remover on a cotton tip, and this should just clean that right up. So now that we're done with the liner, we're going to finish off the eyes with some mascara. The one I'm using today is the Falsies Lash Lift Mascara from Maybelline, and I really enjoy this product. I often wear false lashes, and with this one I don't really need to, which is amazing. It holds the curl of my lashes, it adds a lot of volume, and it's also like super black, which is amazing. So it's a pretty obvious difference here. This is one coat of mascara on my left eye and then nothing on my right eye. I love how this looks. So no look is complete without lips. So to start off with, I'm going to use the Maybelline Color Sensational Lip Liner in the shade Dusty Rose. So I know I look a little bit crazy right now, but we are now going to use the brand new Lifter Gloss from Maybelline. This one's in the shade Reef 006. These glosses are so nice. And so there we have the finished look. I am really happy with how this turned out. I love the way my skin looks. I'm really happy with the liner and the lashes, living for the lip combo. I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me today in the Maybelline Makeup Loft. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, leave a comment and come say hey, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.